Hello and welcome back to another tutorial. My name is Classic Tim, and today we are going to be going over the Project Red storage system. Now, if you've ever played modpacks before, which I assume you have since you're here, is storing your items in an efficient and organized way is really important in order to actually do anything, since there's so many items, especially with big mod packs. There's hundreds and hundreds of different items, and just having them scattered around won't do, especially when you're trying to craft stuff. So a lot of people don't want to spend the time organizing all those items, and I am one of them, which is basically where this storage system comes into play. Basically, with just this right here, and some stuff underground, obviously, for storage, you can just access every single item you own. Just by right-clicking on this pipe, you can see all this stuff, and all this stuff is in chests underneath the actual system here, and all I have to do is click on something, type in how many I want, and hit submit. And then they'll pop up through the pipe and come right out to me. And then if I want to add stuff to my storage system, all I do is right-click on this chest, put the items in, and they slowly disappear, and then they're back in there, and if I right-click, you see this is now back up to 320. This is extremely convenient when you're trying to find something, because everything you have is literally at your fingertips. All you have to do is type in dirt, stone, anything you want. You can just search for it, grab it, and within a couple seconds, you're ready to use it. Now, even though this is extremely important, it's actually really complicated to do, more complicated than you'd think. So that's why I'm going to make a tutorial on it. So if we turn around here, we can start making the actual system. Actually, before we do, let's just go ahead and break this, and we can take a closer look at it in case you guys haven't seen it before. So basically, these are just micro blocks hiding all the pipes, so that way it's not so ugly. So there's a few pipes here. That micro block right there is blocking this pipe from connecting to the chest, so it shoots it out instead of going to the chest. Right now it's just going to go into the chest and then it gets sucked back out again. But then these chests down here is where all the items are stored, just like that. And that's pretty much all there is to it. And this is infinitely expandable, so you can just keep adding more and more chests as you get more and more items, even thousands and thousands of chests if you really wanted to. Okay, so first things we're going to go over is the pipes, because it is a pipe system. The first pipe we're going to go over is just the normal item transport pipe. If you notice, it is not connected to the crafting table like the other pipes are. This pipe only connects to other pipes, so this is basically for moving from one area to the other and not interacting with anything really. So these are super easy to make, just a couple stone and a glass pane in the middle, and you get 16. So this is just for, just transportation if you want to get travels a few distances without actually doing anything. The next pipe here is a routed junction pipe. The main use of this pipe is to create the other pipes, because you need this in the crafting recipe. But also, if you ever want to do a junction, you can't use these pipes. Even though it'll do this, this won't work, because if it'll go this way, it won't know which way to go, so it'll just randomly hop between the two, and even if there's nothing over here, it's still going to come over here, hop this way, and then hop back, and then hop back, and it needs a junction pipe to do any logic. So if you put a junction pipe there, now it'll know which way it should go, whether there's a chest or a storage system or anything like that. You just need the junction pipe for that. You shouldn't need too many of those in your system, though. But these are actually a little bit more complicated to make. You need these red Illumar and green Illumar. You need a lot of these different types of Illumar, different colors, in the Project Red system. So you really want to have a good way of getting dyes. The easiest way is with these red stained leaves, or leaves. And magenta stained leaves and orange stained leaves. There's pretty much every color in the Minecraft rainbow with these trees, and you can just find these around the world, and if you cut these down, they will actually give you saplings. And these saplings will be dyed the same color as the leaves, and you can use those as dye, so you don't have to go around looking for flowers or combining them to get magenta and orange. You can just farm these trees just the same way you would normally farm normal saplings, and then use those saplings in the recipe for the Illumar. which is just 2 pieces of dye and 2 glowstone dust. So instead of green dye here, you could just use green saplings and you would get this. So as you can see, it takes 2 dye per Illumar, so it really does add up how many you need, because you're going to need a lot of them later in the system. The other main thing that you need are these infused silicon, and these actually take quite a few steps to get to the final product here. So the first thing you're going to want to do is make this sandy coal compound, which is just sand surrounding a block of coal, which will give you that. And then you smelt that in a furnace, which will give you this silicon boule, and then you take that and you cut that with a diamond saw, which will give you 8 silicon, and then you take those silicon, surround it with redstone, and then smelt that in a furnace, and it will give you infused silicon. So you can see that just making one of them from, 1 block of coal and 8 sand will give you 8 of these infused silicon, and 2 of these give you 16 pipes. So you really only need to do this once for quite a while, because that'll give you a bunch of pipes, at least to get started with your system. And other than that, all you need is a couple diamonds and a glass pane, and that will give you these routed junction pipes, which again is used for junctions and also to make these other pipes. So if we move on, next we have the routed interface pipe. So basically what this pipe does is this is the pipe that interacts with things. If you want to take things out of a chest or put things into a chest, this is the pipe you're going to want to use. And this is a pretty easy recipe. All you have to do is take those routed junction pipes that we just made and surround that in gold nuggets, and then put redstone in the 4 corners, and that will give you 1 routed interface pipe. So that means 1 routed junction pipe will get you 1 routed interface pipe. This is by far the most used pipe that you're going to need, because every single chest that you are going to connect is going to take 1 of these interface pipes, which, as you can see, that's going to start adding up because you need to make a bunch of junction pipes to do that. And the final pipe that you're going to need is the actual request pipe. Like you saw, that's what I was right-clicking on earlier, and this basically accesses the whole network of pipes and gives you everything connected to it. Obviously, this pipe isn't connected to anything, so it's just a blank page. And to make that is a very similar recipe. You need 1 of those routed junction pipes, put redstone on the sides here, and then 2 diamonds, and that will give you 1. You only need 1 of these request pipes to get started, but if you want to, you can position these all around your base pretty much, and then just connect it to the system, and then you can actually access your entire system from anywhere these request pipes are. Okay, so now let's go over how to position these pipes. The first thing you're going to want is this request pipe, and that's going to want to go at the front of your system, just like that. And let's go ahead and grab some of these pipes here. Again, these are just for traveling. So we're actually going to travel this way, and nothing's going to be connected here. If you want a chest like I have over there to deposit your stuff, you can want to put that there. And again, put some kind of micro block there, like a panel. And that's just so that way that doesn't connect to the chest. Actually, that one won't work because it's too big, so I can't open the chest, but that's fine for now. And then, since we're going to want to take stuff out of this chest, we're going to want to use an interface pipe, so we'll put that there, and you can see that one actually connects to the chest there. And then we can just move along over here towards the chests. So inherently, you're probably going to want to put these things right down the middle so that way they connect to both chests just like that. Unfortunately, though, this does not work. Each pipe can only access 1 inventory at a time. So if you take a closer look here, you'll see that this side is just red, but this side is red and has yellow. That means that it is connected to this chest, not this chest. So this is not how you want to set up your system. You want to set up your system so that 1 chest has 1 pipe. Double chests do count as 1 chest, by the way. So let's go ahead and split the system right here with a junction pipe. And then we'll travel along this way a little bit, and travel along this way a little bit. And then we'll connect that there, connect this here, travel along with this pipe, and then connect this here and connect this there. And then we can do the exact same thing on the other side. And now each one of these chests is connected with a pipe, and then it's all connected up with this system right here. And if we right click on this, still nothing's going to show up because nothing's in the chests. But if we go ahead and put stuff in the chest, and we go ahead and right click on it, still nothing is going to show up. That's because we haven't told these pipes to do anything yet. Right now, they're still sitting here waiting for some orders. And the way we do that is by adding chips to them. So if I go ahead and right-click on this, it'll open up a little interface here with 4 different slots. These are the 4 different chip slots you can use. We're only going to be using up 2 of them for this system. So basically, we need a responder chip and a broadcast chip. So what that does is when items are removed from this chest right here, the responder chip is going to say, I'm over here, I can accept items because I'm connected to this chest. So then this chest over here is going to send items to the responder chip and put it into the chest. And what the broadcast chip does is it basically broadcasts the signal saying these are the items that I have in this chest, and it broadcasts that signal to the request pipe so that way you can right click and see everything you have because they've been broadcasted out by the broadcast chips. Now, this is definitely the hardest part of this Project Red system, is making the chips, because you need 2 chips per pipe, and the chips are not easy to make. This is really where these trees come in handy. So make sure to look around for these first. So the first thing we're going to want to do is make these null logic chips. These chips are just used to craft the other types of chips, so you're going to want to make several of those, which just takes some paper, redstone, and gold nuggets, so they're not too difficult to make. Now, let's move on to the responder chip. This is an orange chip, so it takes orange Illumar. So if you remember from last time, each one of these Illumar takes 2 die each, which means that each chip takes 8 different types of die, or 8 orange die in this case, and 1 iron. So that means that for every single chest, you're going to need 2 chips, which means you're going to need 16 types of die, or 16 die, or 2 different types actually. 16 die for each chest. So that is where these really come in handy, because if you can imagine harvesting that many flowers just for 1 chest, it's not going to be a happy time. So that basically makes these responder chips, so we'll go ahead and grab one of those. And then the broadcast chip is a very similar recipe, except you need gold instead of iron and magenta instead of orange. So that's where the other 8 die go. So with 8 die, 8 magenta die and 8 orange die, you finally make the 2 chips that you need. So before we put these in, we're going to go ahead and configure them by right-clicking on them. You can just right-click on a block or just in the air, and that will open up a little interface here, and you get these 2 little circles. What the priority does is basically like how much you want the items to be sent here. For example, say you wanted cobblestone to be sent to a specific area. Before going into these chests, you would have all these set at priority 0, and then this set at priority 1 with cobblestone on the whitelist, so that way cobblestone will always go here first. But since we're just doing our general system here, we'll leave that at 0, and we're going to shut the whitelist off, so make sure it's blacklisted so that way any item can go to it. And we're going to do something very similar with the broadcast chip. It won't let you put the chip in there unless you configure it, but we're actually not even going to change anything for this since it already defaults at blacklisting. So you're just going to right-click on that, and then you're done. And then you can go ahead and add these chips to the pipe just by right-clicking on them, or you can open up the interface and just place them in just like that. And just remember, each pipe needs this. So if I go ahead and take this chest out of here and put the chest into this pipe, if I go ahead and right click on this, we now have our pipes being broadcasted from that broadcast chip to us, and not the chest, because we still haven't added any chips to this system. So you can see where this system kind of gets expensive between the dies, but again, use the trees, they really come in handy. And it is totally worth it making this system, even though it's a pain in the beginning. Once you have it, it makes everything a million times easier. Now, just like these, we're going to need 1 more chip, and that is the item extractor chip. And what that is used for is to extract the items out of this chest to be pumped into the system. So that's basically the next thing we're going to be working on now. which again is made in a very similar recipe. It's actually the exact same recipe as the responder chip, except it takes cyan instead of a Lumar. So again, with the extra dye. Now, with the extractor chip, you're only going to need one because there's only going to be one chest that you're actually extracting from. These chests get extracted via the responder chips, so you don't need to worry about those. So just go ahead and make one of these. Now, if we go ahead and configure this, make sure it's on blacklisted. It defaults to whitelisted, so make sure it's blacklisted. And then put that in there. And then let's go ahead and take a bunch of items here. There we go. And put them in this chest. I'm going to remove that. Put them in this chest. You'll see items slowly start funneling out of this chest into the system here. Now, if you notice, it is going really slow. If you were just mining and had a lot of items, this wouldn't do. It's taking a long time. It's only taking a couple items per tick, or per time it extracts item, and it's taking out the items very slowly. Let's shut that off really quick. Weather clear. Alright. So this would not be okay for a normal system. So we're actually going to have to upgrade this extractor chip. That's right, some more crafting. We're not done yet, but we are close. Which is the next thing we're going to be crafting right over here. Each upgrade, each chip can have up to 6 upgrades on it, left and right upgrades. The left upgrades are the only ones that you really need. That basically changes how fast it takes items out. The right upgrade decides how big of a stack it takes out. So instead of taking 8, it would take 64. But this, with all the left upgrades, it works so fast anyway. You don't really need those. It's up to you if you want to make them or not. They're actually the same recipe as these, except they're mirrored. So this redstone would be here, and this would be here, and now you see we've got the RX upgrade, which is the right upgrade. But if we just flip it around just like that, then we have the LX upgrade, which is the ones that we're really going to need. So you're going to need to make a null logic chip, which is the same thing as before. So if we just right click on that, it's just some redstone and paper. So let's go ahead and make one LX upgrade. And then the LY upgrade is an LX upgrade and some lapis. So you're actually going to need to make a few of these LX upgrades for the crafting of the others. So we'll make one of those. And then this is going to take an LY upgrade, which is why you're going to need another one of these. And it's going to take a couple redstone and an emerald. So each one of these upgrades that you add makes it extract it significantly faster. Having all 3 makes it almost instantly take out the entire chest, so you're really not going to need any more. And there is one last thing that we are going to need to do to craft here, and that is the router utility. And this is basically how you apply the upgrades to the chips. So we're just going to go ahead and make this. It's 5 iron, a piece of redstone, and 1 more emerald. So we're going to go ahead and make that. Right click on it and we get this little user interface here. Take the item extractor chip, put it in there, and you can see we have a left side and a right side. We'll go ahead and put in all the upgrades, and again, it's up to you whether you want to put the right upgrades in too. So basically this changes how fast the items are taken out. So this is just basically how fast it is, but once you get all these in there, it's almost instantly. And this is how big the stack is. So it's actually additive. So if you add 8 plus the 8 that's already in there, so that's 16, plus another 16, that's 32, and plus a 32, that's 64. So if you put all of them in, then it takes out 64 items at a time, and this is just how fast they go. So let's go ahead and install that. And now we have an upgraded extractor chip. And if we go ahead and fly back over here, we've actually still got some items in here because I took out the extractor chip. But once I put this in, you'll see once it connects there. There we go. It instantly takes out all of the items, almost instantly anyway. And since this is the only pipe that we have a responder chip in, this is the only pipe that it will actually go to. So all the items funnel into this one, and that will work with everything. Items instantly go into there. And then all you have to do is right-click on them once again, and then hit submit to get them back out. And that's actually going to go right into that chest since I don't have anything blocking it. So that basically covers how to make a basic storage system with the Project Red pipes. I really recommend anyone do this as fast as possible because it just makes everything else easier. And once you get this thing going, it's a lot easier to start crafting expansions for it. So thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if this helped you. Leave a comment below if you have any other questions. I'll be sure to answer them. And I will see you guys next time.